So before anything begins, I'd just like to say I want to hear feedback on this video. I already know some of the things I want to improve on in terms of editing and writing and, making the show as a whole. But what I find really important is the thoughts of literally every other human being on the planet. So if you see something you think I could improve on, just say it. Either way, thanks for checking me out and hope you enjoy. So I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls 3 recently. It's okay, I guess. I have a problem. I have a lot I could talk about with this game, but it's a lot of complicated and also pretty boring stuff. So I want to talk about something small I noticed, specifically with the Irithyll dungeon area of the game. See, there's this one specific enemy unique to this area called jailers, but they behave a bit differently to most of the enemies. About 99% of the enemies just turn towards you and charge at you with their sharp pointy stick or start throwing various objects at you from a distance. But the jailers don't do that, at least not quite. Instead, their eyes kind of change color, like from a blue to a yellow, and then they let some smoke out. This indicates that they've been alerted to your presence, which most enemies don't have a visual cue like that, like changing eye color, for example. It's mostly just body language. It takes them a little bit to fully get into their alert status, but once they do and they have a line of sight on you, they will progressively lower your maximum health. Of course, it raises back up to normal soon enough, but you still have to heal yourself. Now let me tell you why this is absolutely brilliant design. All of the mechanics behind the jailer have been specifically refined to be fair. One example, you know how I mentioned it takes a little bit for them to get fully into their alert phase? Like a second or so? Well, during that time, you can actually just dash right towards them and start attacking. But regardless of whether or not they've been fully alerted, if they're staggered, you won't lose any health at all. And if you get one attack in, then you have plenty of time to get another attack in order to reset the stagger. So basically, you can just lock them in a combo and just boom, done. No worries at all. This means so that if you can't avoid a jailer, which most of the time you can't, you can pop out from around in the corner and take them out before they even have a chance to go to their alert status. Another thing is that they can only lower your max HP to 1, not 0. That's a very specific detail. That means if you're in a place where they can't hit you, or you manage to dodge their attacks, then you don't get killed. Pretty much the only time you stand absolutely no chance against jailers is when you charge 3 of them from 50 meters away with no plan at all. In fact, if you want to take more than one on at a time, you better have a good plan. Even if it's just a simple idea, like you know for a fact you can hit both of them with one swing of your weapon, but you should have some kind of idea on how to deal with all of them before any of them can react, which is difficult, or give yourself some kind of gap of time for your stamina to recover, so then you can start attacking again. Now this is some cool analysis and all that, but why is this important, like, at all, you might be asking yourself? Well, take those rules and try to apply it to other games. What kind of things does that apply to? And chances are the idea that comes to mind is stealth games. I have also been playing a decent amount of Metal Gear Solid 5 recently, so when you compare the encouraged playstyles of this area of Dark Souls and that entire game, the resemblance is pretty striking. They both seem to encourage sneaking when you can, and fighting loud if you really, really have to. At the very least, when it comes to the jailers, because not this entire area is jailers. That would get pretty boring, actually. Now, this might just be crazy, so feel free to call me that. But my theory is that this area of the game was actually designed to be a stealth area. But the thing is that this is designed so then the player doesn't even realize it. The big thing that makes it so hard to realize that it's designed like that is that the player figures out what these enemies do and how to counter them entirely on their own. This is one of the things that Dark Souls does really well just in general, but it especially shines here. And when a stealth area is introduced into an action-oriented game, this is what they should be going for. Like, yeah, you totally could take them on head-on. But that's stupid! You aren't forced to be stealthy, but you probably should. And the game doesn't tell you that you should probably be stealthy. And that's the beauty of it. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, so here's the big question. Can this kind of design be integrated into different games to make stealth sections seem like a natural part of the game instead of something they shoved in at the last minute? Short answer? Yeah. Long answer? Yeah, but not without complications. See, From Software was a genius with this idea. If a jailer sees you, they don't set off an alarm that sends every enemy in the area running full speed towards your location, and they also don't instantly send you back to your last checkpoint, or anything like that. But you still don't want to get caught with your pants down. Very few action games have tried to do stealth sections like this. Let's take Legend of Zelda, for example. Basically, right at the beginning of the game, Wind Waker tried to do a stealth section, but it mostly flopped in terms of quality. If you get seen by a guard or a spotlight, you instantly lose some of your progress in the dungeon. You aren't able to sneak up on the guards and take them out, you aren't able to fight back before they set off the alarm, nothing. Now, doesn't that sound awful in comparison to what I've been talking about here? Just imagine Irithyll Dungeon if being seen by one of the jailers meant you were sent back to the last bonfire. You have no chance to run, or fight back, or anything. But at the same time, it needs to be threatening enough to where you want to avoid being seen, and it's not just, oh, I got seen. Whatever, I guess. Oh no. So the most important thing is to balance the player's opportunity to respond, and the amount of danger they face if they do get seen. Dark Souls 3 managed to strike this balance pretty much perfectly. I'd argue just as well, if not better, than games like Metal Gear Solid and Mark of the Ninja that focus almost entirely on stealth. But this isn't an easy balance to achieve by any means. So the question really comes down to, how do you make an enemy easy if you get the jump on them, but incredibly dangerous otherwise? Dark Souls 3 chose slowly lowering your maximum health, but that might not work for a game like Mario, where your health is measured in how many hits you take, and not how hard the hits you take are. So in general, the best answer is to give the player some time to react before the enemy gains a large amount of strength, or starts to deal a lot of damage, or something like that. Let's look again at Wind Waker. Imagine if instead of instantly getting thrown in a cell, getting seen would cause the guard to start to raise the alarm, which would charge up a strong attack, or summon some nearby guards, or something like that. And during that time, the player could either try to flee, so then whatever it does in that time is meaningless anyway, or take out the guard before it finishes what it's trying to do. That way, being seen still poses a lot of risk, so you don't want to just charge them outright. But if you do end up getting seen, it's not the end of the world. There are a lot of games that could benefit from just thinking a little bit more about stealth sections, instead of just, the story calls for it, just throw it in there, call it a day. That extra little refinement, that extra little detail, makes it so much more enjoyable to go through the Irithyll Dungeon. And now I actually find myself looking forward to this area. Would I be looking forward to that if I just got instantly killed from being seen? No. That's stupid. By putting just a little extra thought into it, it would make a lot of games better and a lot of gamers much more pleased with their experience. Thanks for watching. See you next time.